Okay, I see a question there. I'm assuming you guys can hear me. See one question discussing the fixed rate options for both SBA loan types. You can get either program can be fixed, and that's always worked out with the borrower. If you do a 504 program right now, the fixed rates are really low. They're below 3%. And a lot of people are intrigued with that. A lot of folks are interested in that. And I caution people to not just get hypnotized by that low loan rate, because it's a great rate. And if you're doing an acquisition, it's a pretty safe deal. But if you're doing a new construction, the loan doesn't actually fix until a couple of months after the construction has taken place and you've got a CO. So it's just one of the things you need to be aware of. But both loan programs, you can get fixed rates, and again, it depends on what the lender is able to do. It depends on the borrower, their credit, the project, the strength of it. There's a lot of things that are involved there. So just to give you a rate, what that's going to be is kind of tough to do. It's a case-by-case basis that we look at. I see another one here. What financing is available from SBA for assets that are absorption, say 60% plus? That's basically kind of a bridge loan. You may be able to use either one. That's kind of, again, we got to kind of look at the whole deal and look at the loan. We got to look at you as a borrower, that sort of thing. That's a good one-on-one conversation. I hate to sort of seem evasive, but I'm not trying to be. You can sometimes do that. There's something called credit elsewhere with the SBA programs, and if you're able to get credit elsewhere, which I realize is tougher these days, you can't really do the SBA program. But right now, a lot of folks are kind of leery on those that are in lease up. But we're actually looking at a couple right now. So it's something, we could have a conversation about if you wanted to. Anybody else got any questions? Okay, Adam, let's see. Can you explain a little more about the pari passu loan you alluded to that could bring borrowers above the $5 million on the 7A program? Yes, the pari passu program is basically if a lender so chooses, they can do a pari passu, which is a conventional companion that goes along with the SBA program. For example, when we do a 7A with a pari passu, we basically mirror the 7A program. Except now, instead of 25, we're probably going to have a 20-year term on that difference. And obviously that difference is going to be the smaller difference or the smaller amount of the loan. So it's not going to affect you that bad. So it's going to be a 20-year term. There may be a little more, there are a little more collateral requirements involved as well. But again, it depends on the bank. And for us, the way it works is it is a conventional loan, and we would be equally exposed with the SBA on that loan. So it's just a little different animal from a risk standpoint for the bank. But we've done many of those over the years to help folks to take advantage of the 7A, be able to get the working capital and interest-only payments they need to get through lease up, and still be able to have the benefits, for the most part, of that 7A program. So we've done it many times, and it's been very helpful to a whole lot of buyers, a lot of borrowers. Hope that helps answer your question there, Adam, and thanks for asking. Now, I am assuming, guys, everybody that's on here that ask a question, if you would, any of you, if you would just please type down there and let me know that you are hearing what I'm saying and you're not just waiting to see me respond in a text. Okay, how long it takes to close the loan, the 7A. We usually say that, we can usually close a 7A in 60 days. We've done a 7A in 30 days before, but there was all the planets were aligned. The bank, they were working with a bank and something happened. They already had an appraisal, so we didn't have to worry about that. We were able to get that assigned to us. But we say, as a rule of thumb, we can do the loan in 60 days, but a big part of the loan closing really depends on our borrower. I like to tell the borrowers that once we get to an agreement and we were moving you to closing now, after the commitment letter signed, we move you to closing. You are now part of the lending team. You're part of the closing team, because we're going to be asking you for a lot of information, a lot of documents, etc. And the speed in which you get that back. Usually our holdups are third-party things like third-party reports, appraisals, environmentals, or the borrower not getting us documents and information back in a timely manner. So the short answer is the quicker you get us things back, the quicker we're going to close, because typically nobody's waiting on us. We're usually waiting on someone else to get it done, because we want to get you closed. We want you to be able to get, buy that facility, start that facility, because, we make a living by lending money. So it does us no good, and we have no reason to want to delay it. So we want it to happen as fast as possible. So, let's say 60 days is a rough rule of thumb if we get cooperation and participation from everyone else involved. And I hope that answers your question. Jim Ross, thanks for stopping by, Jim. What kind of interest rates do we have now? On the 7A, it's going to be, I don't know if you watched the presentation earlier that I was on the panel. The rates depend on a lot of things. So with the 7A, the entire amount of the loan is actually provided by the bank, and the banks are the ones who set the pricing. So for us, what we want to see how strong our borrower is, their credit, what kind of liquidity they have, how strong the project is, whether it's new construction, whether it's an acquisition. We take all of these things and we look at everything overall, and then we put a price on it. So, I don't like giving rates out, in a forum or something like that, because I don't want to set the wrong expectation. I'm not trying to be evasive. We're happy to look at programs with you, but they're very competitive these days. I mean, we've seen quite a bit of competitive rates. So again, I don't mean to sound like I'm being evasive, because I'm not. I hate setting expectations that may not happen, and every deal is different. And if you've got something in particular you want to look at, we'll be glad to look at it with you and see what we can come up with you for a rate. But again, they are very competitive these days. Another question, can you talk a little bit about closing costs for the 7A and 504? Also the guarantee with closing costs are the same as they are for any loan. You've got appraisal fees, you've got attorneys, you got title, you got insurance, you got all the normal things. And it's hard to give you an exact number. Again, every deal is different. Every state is different. For example, I know New York State has a huge amount of taxes that have to be included in there. So they're going to be very similar to any other loan, but with the guarantee fee, there is a guarantee fee on both of the SBA loans. So as a rule of thumb, what I tell folks to think about is there is a formula that's used, that the SBA uses to come up with the SBA fee, because the SBA is not, this program is not funded by the taxpayer. So it is funded by those that are using it by paying an SBA fee, which is rolled into the loan. So rough rule of thumb, since they use a formula, is roughly 2 3/4% of the total loan amount. So that's roughly what it's going to be. And again, they roll it into the loan. It's not something you have to come out of your pocket. But those fees allow for things that you can get with this program you can't get with conventional lending, like as little as 10% down. No financial covenant. So this, it's set up for folks who really can't afford the conventional program or just don't want to use all their cash for a conventional program. Let's see, any specific details, updates, differences on the Main Street SBA. We actually had a meeting on Main Street program yesterday, and they keep making changes. It's still not final. And at this point, I don't even want to talk about it to try. Again, I don't want to set unrealistic expectations because it keeps changing. We've been looking at it and talking about it for some time. We do plan, as soon as it's ready and available, in a final form, we do plan to try to offer this to anybody that we can. But again, yesterday we had some discussions on it and semi-training, if you want to call it that. But there's still so many things that aren't final. That's kind of the way it was left. It's like sort of here we are, but this is going to change. We kind of lived through that with the PPP loans. Every other day it was changing, and today every other day the repayment plans are changing. So it's a moving target to answer. And I hate having answers like that because I don't want to seem evasive, but I don't want to set unrealistic expectations or give you something that's incorrect. Let's see, looking into converting a retail store into self-storage. Plan to do it in stages as the place fills up. With an SBA loan, sure, it would. An SBA loan we could provide for, I don't know if you own the retail center, but we could provide the lending for the purchase of the building and for the conversion and for the lease-up capital, most likely as well. And one of the things I would look at is, look at phasing versus just doing the whole thing at once, because there are economies of scale by doing the whole thing at once. You can save on freight, you can save on labor, you can save on materials, you can save on having your business interrupted by adding on to that building. But again, each case is different. As a building supplier, I've been involved in just hundreds of these things. So, we could look at it and talk about it a little more in depth if you wanted to. But yes, an SBA loan product could work to give you a long answer to your question. And by the way, conversions are super ways to get in the self-storage business. I love conversions. I really like it. For the most part, your construction risks are just minimal. I mean, they're almost non-existent because your building's already there. You may just have to go in and make a few changes, paint it, clean it up, move some electrical, move some lighting, move some sprinklers. There's some different things you may have to do, but the building is there. So it can be a faster way to get into the market, and sometimes at least a less expensive way to get in the market. So like I said, I really like them, and they definitely have their place. And when you can take advantage of that, you should. And there's going to be some opportunities to do conversions out there with a lot of the big box stores that are already getting in trouble. They're talking about JCPenney's and some of the other ones. After all of this is over, there's probably going to be some empty units, empty buildings. So don't overlook those, but be sure that when you look at them, ask yourself the question: would I build a new building there? Don't just try to do it just because there's an empty building that's cheap there. You want to make sure you put it in the right space and get a feasibility study. Do you have a list of approved feasibility consultants or accept anyone? Yes, we do have a list of approved feasibility experts, and just contact me, and I will be glad to give those to you. And we refer people to you that we know and understand, know that they understand the business, and they've got a lot of experience and a great track record, and that's very important to you. There's a lot of folks that have hung out a shingle in the last year or two that do feasibility studies, but that experience in the industry, that anecdotal experience, is very important. It makes a big difference. And we also track these guys. Whenever we do a loan, we not only track the performance of the loan, but we also track how it was the performance that the feasibility study said to expect. And you can, those can be off a little bit because, if you open in November in Chicago, your performance is probably going to be off compared to what the feasibility study said. But by the next spring, next summer, you're going to start catching up. But we do track this and we watch it, and we will be happy to give you the feasibility experts and direct you to those. And these folks that we send to you are people that I would use. I mean, I would spend my own money with, so I'm not going to refer somebody to you that I don't know well or don't believe in. Someone asked me earlier, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what this is. Somebody asked me earlier what this is. Basically, here at work, at the office, as soon as we come in the door, we get shot in the head with a laser thermometer, and we get a sticker to prove that we don't have a fever. Just in case anybody's wondering what that is, that's not part of the Under Armour logo there. Yes, we did a rebranding. Thank you, Jessica. That's we appreciate that. I'll let the marketing department know, but we felt it was time to do a rebrand. Joe, I hope you're kidding that you have to wear your sticker on your forehead. Oh my gosh. You look like you have the chicken pox. Yes, I will. Somebody just asked about the 6 months of P&I. I don't know if you were on the panel that I was just on a few minutes ago. I made a point to mention it, and I definitely need to do that again now. Is the CARES Act requires the SBA to provide 6 months of principal and interest payments for anyone who currently has an SBA loan that's fully funded, or anyone who actually closes and fully funds an SBA loan between now and September 27th. They say the 27th, that's on a Sunday. So you really got to have it closed by the 25th. So if you can close and fully fund by Friday, September the 25th, you can get 6 months of principal and interest payments from the SBA. This is not taxable. It's not a 1099. It's nothing else other than pure stimulus. And this is just unheard of and crazy. So if you've got an acquisition you're working on or you're looking at, our window of time is closing to get that done. Like I said earlier, 60 days is a rule of thumb to take. So sometime mid-July is going to be the latest that we can start working with you on getting a loan done. So early July would be better. So we only have very few weeks left to see if we can get that to happen for you. So definitely you got something that might fit into that category. Please contact us and let us know. We'd love to help you be able to take advantage of that offer while it still exists. It would be a shame for folks to have a situation that they could take advantage of and then not do it. I mean, it would be just a shame. So please let us know if you've got that situation. And thanks for the reminder, Janice. Cash flow should be current or first year pro forma. Not quite sure I'm following that question. But if it's an acquisition, we definitely need to see, we want to see the last 3 years cash flow if it exists. We want to see current year to date year over year from the same time last year. So, for this year, we want to see January 1st through June 24th. And we also want to see that for 2019, so we can just compare year over year and make sure there's not a declining trend on this year. I hope that answers your question. If not, let me know and I'll try to do a better job.